Welcome in everybody to Betting Pros. It's time to place your bets. It is me, Joe Pisapia, and this is BP NFL. It's time to look ahead to the best bets for Week 9 as we look to our favorite games and moments to see if we can help you make some money. Don't forget to download the Betting Pros app wherever you get your apps and start betting smarter, not harder. Of course, my co-hosts are here, as always, Terrell Furman Jr. and the Undertaker himself, Andrew Erickson. Gentlemen, we got some fun games to talk about today, and both of you want to start with the Denver Broncos. So Terrell Furman, without further ado, let's kick things off with Bo Nix, who is clearly, the greatest quarterback in the history of the league, right? I think that's where he's ranking, right?
Yeah, he may not be the best passer, but he's a great cover of the spread, and he has a great coach that is putting him up in great situations on the road to cover the spread. And I mean, there were some people out there that said you couldn't lay points with Bo Nix and you couldn't lay double digits with Bo Nix, and Bo Nix absolutely handled business against the Carolina Panthers. And I mean, he's just doing what is expected to be done, and that's it. Everybody forgets it's okay to have a game manager. It's okay to have a quarterback that's not the best quarterback in the game. As long as he's not an idiot, they can play really, really good at the position. And Bo Nix has shown that he's just not an idiot. He just might not have the talent to make all the throws. The one in particular on Thursday night where he lofted in between two players shows that, hey, he may not be the best passer, but it doesn't matter because this Ravens defense is horrible. I mean, they're horrible. They went and got Deontay Johnson, and Ravens fans feel no better because the defense is still really, really bad. So if you give Bo Nix opportunities to throw the ball and keep giving him different chance after chance after chance, which this Ravens team has done, not being able to cover the spread, large numbers like this over the course of the year, yeah, absolutely. I'm all over this Denver Broncos team. I've been taking this Denver Broncos team, catching a big number on the road all season. I think this is another spot where Sean Payton coaches this team up. The defense plays lights out, and Bo Nix just does enough to keep them in the game, and now the Ravens have to play from behind and try to secure a win. The Ravens don't care about covering the spread. They're just trying to win games. So, yeah, I love the Broncos today.
Yeah, this is something Andrew and I talked about earlier in the week, too. I think that Baltimore is going to play angry because of the fact that they just let that game slip through their fingers literally several times this past week in Cleveland. So they will bounce back. They should get that victory here. But it is a very large number. And Andrew, this is something we talked about earlier on the week. If you missed that show, go look at the look ahead. We kind of did a breakdown of all the games, but obviously this one in particular. So I'm where Terrell is on this one too. I think that's a lot of points. You're getting 10 in some markets already. So where are you at here still as we've gone a couple days? You've seen the 9. I've even seen some 10 now available.
Yeah, it's too many points. We learned this last week. Just take these teams that are getting so many points. With the Broncos,
unless it's Detroit against the Tennessee Titans.
Well,
in which case, there's no number that's safe.
Detroit are the ATS champions of the world under Dan Campbell. So you always take them against the spread, no matter what. In doubt, just take the Lions. Doesn't matter. But for the Broncos, I want to take them especially on the road. Furman laid out the case. Sean Payton and Bo Nix this year, 4-0 record against the spread on the road. 3-1 straight up. And that's despite being a 6-point underdog in 3 of those 4 contests. So the Broncos have been basically touchdown underdogs most of the time on the road, and they not only covered those games, they've won those games. So, no, I don't think that this is a spot, especially with the Ravens coming off a loss, that an upset special, Joe, this would not be my pick for you. But to cover 9 points for a team that hasn't lost a game, they haven't played a game where they've lost by more than a touchdown. Every game that they've played has been within at least 7 points that they have lost this season, the Denver Broncos. So, what did we saw last week against the Carolina Panthers? They were putting up points. The game was out of reach. They already won the game, and they're still trying to score points. So you think if they get down 21 that they're just going to give up? No, they're going to do whatever it takes to cover this spread. So that's what I like putting my money on, teams that aren't going to quit. And that's what you've seen from the Denver Broncos with Bo Nix. And give credit to the defense. The Broncos have a really good defense. Can they give some trouble to Lamar in this offense? I think so. So again, I think there's just so many points. The Broncos have done this on the road repeatedly this season. But give me Bo Nix.
On BP right now, I see FanDuel's got it at 9.5. You can get it there. ESPN bet 9.5. So there's some bigger numbers even if you're really into this and really want to cover yourself. Let's get to the New Orleans Saints. You're hopefully getting a return of Derek Carr this week. Fingers crossed. That's good news for Chris Olave. It's good news for Alvin Kamara. It's good news for the Saints. The only better news is they're getting the Carolina Panthers. That's the perfect opponent that you want that first game back for some of these guys. So let's talk about this one, Terrell. The Saints number is -7.5. Are you in?
Yeah, I'm 100% in on the New Orleans Saints because this Carolina team is horrible. Like, it's horrible, and they're throwing Bryce Young out there, and they're not even trying to, like, set him up to succeed. They trade away Deontay Johnson, which shows that they're just completely on the tank train. They're not even trying. Like, you're throwing Xavier Leggett out there, Jonathan Mingo. Like, they have no options for Bryce Young to be able to succeed at playing well. And then guess what? Derek Carr, the man, the myth, the legend, is back. And oh man, how many times have we seen the Derek Carr return from injury game? I mean, this is the best spot. This is 100% the best spot to fade the Panthers again. And I just don't understand how the Saints are not a public team. Why are there people betting Panthers plus 7.5 here? Why are there people still betting Panthers? The Panthers completely ruined the close your eyes special. There's no reason to bet the Panthers this season. If you can't bet them as a close your eyes special, you can't bet them at all. Oh man, I'm fading. This is short. This is way too short. Give me Derek Carr all the way. Lay 7.5.
Erickson, it's not you, right? Betting the Panthers. We've already established.
I've practiced restraint the last couple weeks. I've stopped betting on the Panthers, and I've felt much happier during my Sundays.
Well, I've already logged my bets for Alvin Kamara over on BettingPros. You can follow me, bettingpros.com/Joe, or now you can actually just search for names too. Terrell Furman, Joe Pisapia, Andrew Erickson. You can find.
Don't search Terrell Furman. Just search Terrell. You don't have to go all the way to Terrell Furman. You just search Terrell.
Cher and Madonna.
There's only one Terrell here.
Or McLovin.
Or McLovin, right? A little bit closer.
McLovin.
Let's get to your take on this game. Since you're not on the Carolina side, thank goodness. How are you approaching Carolina and New Orleans, Andrew?
I just like the under. Panthers games typically go under because they can't score points on offense. You look at their last 12 home games, 8 of them have gone under the projected total. So for me, I'm expecting some rust coming off of Derek Carr, missed time. This offense hasn't been the same since it was during weeks 1 and 2. I know one of those games was against the Carolina Panthers, but part of the reason why the Saints were firing was Rashid Shaheed. That was Derek Carr's big play specialist. They were driving the ball down the field, splash plays. It was awesome. And ever since then, he's gone. They haven't been doing nearly as much play action, not as much motion. It just the offense hasn't been as creative. So I think that the Saints can kind of approach this game as, we'll just let the Panthers beat themselves, turn the ball over. We'll run the ball with Kamara and Taysom Hill and Jamal Williams, and we'll win this game. I just don't think that they need to do a lot. They're also playing on the road too. So again, I just don't think that this is a Saints, we're going to post 35 points like they did in week 1. So for me, it's just an easy underplay.
I would also like to throw out there for the people, because I'm a man of the people and I would love to give people bets and extra bets when I can. I just want everybody to know I bet Taysom Hill 2 touchdowns last week, which means that it's 100% going to hit this week. Just letting you know. Just letting you know.
Yeah. Let's go. All the Taysom Hill. All right. That's going to piss a lot of fantasy people off, potentially. Don't forget, everybody, too, if you want to keep the discussion going, go to our Discord, bettingpros.com/chat. It's free. It's fun. And if you're new to sports betting, or if you're somebody that's a seasoned vet, it's a great place to get involved with other handicappers, connect with fellow bettors, and you can, interact with all of us on there too. Matt Peralt's on there all the time, always taking questions and giving out bets too. So go to bettingpros.com/chat today, join our Discord. And if you want to get involved in something fun, it's a new month starting here in November, bettingpros.com/NFL contest. We're doing monthly prizes and even weekly prizes too. You just have to make picks. You don't even have to make bets. So if you're somebody who just wants to have some fun because betting's not legal where you live, or you want to make some of your bets count because you're so good at it, you want to win some more free stuff, bettingpros.com/NFL contest. That's the way to do it. So download the BP app today and look for the NFL contest. And of course, join our Discord too. Now, Terrell Furman, or should I just say Terrell? Pardon me, sir. You were 4-1 last week. So you were riding.
I was waiting for when you were going to say it.
I got, look, if I praise you too much at the top, then the whole show.
Okay. All right.
So I wanted to wait a little bit. 4-1 last week. These first 2 sound really good to me. Next one here. Now, look, this is interesting because I, of course, am overjoyed with the Patriots' performance last week. It's a one-off. I texted Andrew right when the game ended. My heart is full of joy. Those are my exact words to him when I texted
Andrew, can you confirm?
So Terrell,
confirmed.
He confirmed. My heart is full of joy. I don't know if there were emojis. I can't remember. But this week, the Patriots, you've got some feelings on. You might have to sell me on this one a little bit. I want to hear about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you want a trend, I have a trend. And this is Dan Campbell absolutely destroying teams every week he plays them, and they don't have a roster to play the next week because teams that are playing against the Lions the next week that they play are horrible. I mean, it is horrible. Looking since 2022, teams after playing the Lions are 14-24-1 against the spread. That is 36.8%. 20.6% ROI taking the other team that is playing the Lions. And maybe that's because Dan Campbell came out in that press conference and he said, we're going to bite those kneecaps and we're going to destroy teams. And they're actually doing it. They may not get the win all the time, but you get the psychological win of knowing that you beat up a team the week before and they just can't play well after you. In fact, this season, teams are 0-6 straight up, 0-6 against the spread after playing the Lions. And think about all the teams. You can go back and you can look at my New York Giants playing against the Seattle Seahawks, where nobody had us against the Seattle Seahawks, and they went outright as 6-point dogs on the road. This is something really legit. And then why are we laying 3.5 with the Titans? Just think about that for a second. After everything everybody gave me about the Titans, despite them having a great defense, you cannot lay points with this team. They have horrible special teams. They give up a block punt or a block kick for a touchdown every single game. I mean, the best bet for this game really should be the New England special teams, because if there's ever a special teams that's going to take advantage of bad special teams, it's going to be a New England Patriots special team. So special team defense touchdown for them all the way. I think that Jacoby Brissett is going to do enough in this game, and I just don't trust Mason Rudolph and this Titans offense to put up any kind of points on a really, really good Patriots defense that I was high on all season. So I think Calvin Ridley is going to have an off day playing against Christian Gonzalez on the outside. Yeah, I am 100%. I think that the Patriots are live here to win this game outright.
All right, 3.5. That's the number you're getting now. You like that hook too.
Joe, are you convinced?
I think so. Yeah, I am. I've again, they're still a 2-6 team, and they're 2-6 team going on the road. And I just don't know if I'm not excited about it. I think Terrell's right, and I think the Lions hangover proposition that he's throwing out there is pretty convincing. I think the under is the way I would approach this game at 38.5. Personally, I think I'm a little more confident in that than I am with the Patriots. I feel like this is one of those 4 outcome kind of games, and that typically doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy. But are you convinced, since we're talking about it?
I just need Drake May to be the quarterback. I see Jacoby
if
play.
Drake May was the quarterback, I don't know if this number
he won the game.
I was gonna say, here's a question.
Okay,
for
no,
you.
the Jets
If Drake May was the
lost
quarterback, what would
that
this
game.
number be?
The Patriots,
100%.
yeah,
100%. If Drake May was the quarterback this week, what would that number be in your mind?
the Titans would still be favored, so I would just take the Patriots on the money line, even if I
What
lose
do
a
you
little
think
bit.
It would be? Would you be 2.5, Terrell? I think it would be. I think it would be under.
Maybe closer to 1. I mean, but
what Drake May?
I feel more confident about just betting on the Patriots in general.
Yes, but he's also significantly better
in
terms of moving the football now.
But again, I don't think.
And I like Jacoby Brissett. I've been a Jacoby Brissett guy for a long time.
Jacoby Brissett has more wins this season than Drake May. I just want to throw that out there.
Well, he's played more games.
He's also played more games.
And technically, last week Drake May started, so Drake May technically got the win because he started. So technically, you're actually not right.
No. Jacoby got the save. Yeah. Jacoby got the save.
No, the hybrid. See,
I also don't think the Patriots defense is good, so I disagree with Furman there. I think the Patriots defense is horrible. They've given up 300 yards in almost every single game this year. So that's my concern.
All right, let's get to your third pick, Andrew. Cincinnati, Las Vegas. Certainly a game where, defense might be hard to come by at certain times. So, do you think this game goes under or over the 46.5?
I'm leaning towards under 46.5 with this game total. I have concerns about the Bengals with some of the injuries they're dealing with. No T. Higgins, and this offense just doesn't seem to operate at the same level when he doesn't play. It's weird because you think that, okay, Chase is going to just absolutely eat and destroy whenever T. Higgins misses games. But this year, a lot of Chase's down games have actually been when Higgins has not been playing. It's one of these rare occurrences where he really gets that massive efficiency boost because teams can't take him away as easily. He needs
Higgins hasn't been ruled out yet.
I'm just saying, he opened the week with DMP. So that's
right, but I mean, at this point too,
if
he gets a limited in today on Thursday, as we're recording this, and a limited on Friday, I would imagine he plays. So I think that's the next 48 hours are very important, to Andrew's point too. So if you don't think Higgins is going to play, sure, put that in your mix of discussing it. But as of right now, that's not official yet. I just want to be clear for everybody watching and listening.
Yes, but T. Higgins also in a contract year. I don't think he's going to play if he's not 150% ready to go.
No, he ain't pushing it.
Yeah, he's not pushing it. And the other thing is Orlando Brown Jr., tackle for the Bengals, is also banged up, listed as day to day. So tackle issues, wide receiver issues. The Raiders defense isn't great. I don't expect them to score a ton of points playing on the road. Most of their road games, last 5 of 8, have gone under the projected total. They've shown out the last 2 weeks against some lackluster offenses that weren't at full strength. Rams, Chiefs, they've kind of kept those games kind of close. But, I mean, I don't think they're going to be able to do that against the Cincinnati Bengals, who have shown, at least when they've played bad quarterbacks, those games have gone towards the under, 3-1 towards the under in games that I would deem against quote-unquote bad quarterbacks.
I would love to know which games you deemed were against bad quarterbacks.
Oh, the bad quarterbacks? So Jacoby Brissett, bad quarterback. Daniel Jones, bad quarterback.
Yeah.
No offense.
No.
Deshaun Watson,
okay.
bad
Okay.
quarterback.
Okay.
And then the one that went over was Andy Dalton. So that one went over.
Quarterback.
But that one went over. But wait, you think that Dalton's good?
I mean, that was a spot. That was a spot. That was against the Bengals. I think you should count that as a 3-0 trend. I think we should count that one as a 3-0 trend. I don't know if we count the Dalton game.
You get my point. Whenever they're not playing against a team that actually has someone that can fight back, punch for punch, the games kind of go towards the under. And the Bengals defense has played a bit better against bad QBs. So that's why I like the under. Again, it's pretty high, 46.5 for Raiders on the road. I feel like the Bengals just need, Bengals need to win a home game eventually at some point. So,
you would think.
But I would change my pick probably towards the Bengals against the spread if we get healthier news about Higgins and guys like Orlando Brown. But for right now, if those guys are out, I like the under.
All right, let's get to the next game here on our list. Terrell, you've got some thoughts about Minnesota hosting Indianapolis. Now, right now, you're getting Indy at 5.5 there on the plus side points. And Joe Flacco now taking over at quarterback. The Vikings, started out red hot, started out undefeated, then the bye week, and then a couple losses. So here we are. So the Vikings trying to kind of put the pieces back together a little bit. Can they do that against the Colts here and Joe Flacco?
Yeah, and I mean, I was on the Rams. If you caught my short that I dropped here Thursday Night Football last week, I was on the Rams. And I think that it's something about the Vikings offense that just doesn't feel right to me. It feels like they are able to get big chunk plays, but it's just more of the, hey, consistent offense down the field, consistent running the football, keeping the chains moving, all of that. They just feel very, very uncertain to me. But what's not uncertain to me is the fact that the Colts get up for playing for Joe Flacco. Like, this is like baseball when you have a pitcher that you just really, really rock with. You're saying, hey, we're going to play great defense behind you. Like, we're going to get up behind you. We're going to make sure you get this. Like, they are playing up for Joe Flacco, and Joe Flacco is now the starter. Like, all the Anthony Richardson bad juju that was around this team is gone, and they've been really, really good when Joe Flacco's in the lineup. Let's mention the Colts have covered all but one game this season. Somehow at 4-4, they've covered everything but one game this season. And if you look at what they've done recently, okay, they lost against Texas, still covered that number. They won the game against the Dolphins. They won the game against the Titans. They lost the game against the Jags. But guess what? They got the cover. Like, they've constantly been in these games. These have been one-score games. I think that, yeah, you're probably going to get a couple of mistakes by Joe Flacco here, maybe an interception or so. But he's going to continue to push the ball downfield and continue to challenge this Vikings defense. And that's enough for me for a cover. Are they going to get the win outright? I think they can, actually. I really think they can. Like, they're in the dome. We've seen Joe Flacco do this last year with the Browns, where he just gets up for these spots on the road and is able to go play really, really good football. I'm backing Joe Flacco plus 5.5 and sprinkle on the money line. I think they're going to be able to run the ball on his Vikings team, and Joe Flacco's going to do what they need to be done.
Debro and I had a big argument on the FP live stream when this news happened about the change of quarterback, and I'm completely on the Joe Flacco decision because you are right now a 500 team looking around at the rest of this conference saying, why can't we get in the playoffs again? Of course you can. So, the Jets and the Dolphins were supposed to be right on the precipice of playoffs. They look toast already. Both of those teams are 2-win teams. Why not give yourself the best chance to win for the next 6 weeks or 8 weeks, whatever you got? And if the wheels fall off, okay, you want to go back to Richardson, go back to Richardson. But you are in it right now. And this is a team and a coach that got Gardner Minshew to lead a team into the playoffs last year. So why not Joe Flacco? And I think Joe Flacco is very astute. Annually just finding the spot. He's like, who's a really bad quarterback that eventually I'm going to get a shot sooner than later? Here you go. How about the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson? Oh, wait, here you go. How about the Colts? Where does he go next year, Terrell Furman?
Oh, hopefully my New York Giants, because if he's going to play good football, it's way better than what.
He's going back to the Jets.
What?
Dude.
It's way better.
Yeah, there we go.
He doesn't want anything to do with that dumpster fire.
And he went to the Jets too.
And
they should have
kept Flacco.
Could you imagine if they kept Flacco? Because you remember they were 4-4 last year at one point. Had they just started Flacco with Garrett Wilson, like they would have been okay.
They've been in the playoffs. Joe Flacco leads teams to the playoffs. Like he leads teams to the playoffs. I'm all over the Colts here. Like I think this is a great spot to back Flacco. And again, we've seen him do this before. This is now 2 years of data. We've seen him being able to go up on the road and play up in these spots. So and at least cover the spread. So he hasn't lost a game by more than 5 points all season.
He's also
Andrew. Yeah, elite Joe Flacco. That's right. Andrew, you and I are feeling the same about this next game, about the Cleveland Browns here. So let's talk about this. I want to get your breakdown here because Cleveland, another team that has a new lease on life, and they are at home and they are underdogs. And I think you and I are in the same spot here. The Chargers are coming into town. They're 4-3. I know Cleveland's 2-6, but it's a different team without Watson playing quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think that 2-6 represents what this team is in any capacity, especially when they play at home. They've covered 7 of their last 10 home games, 9-4 on the money line at home. All of the trends are pointing towards the Browns here showing up against even a team that has a winning record. They've won the last 4 home games against teams that held a winning record. They covered the spread in 6 of the last 7 home games against teams that held a winning record. Why are we afraid of the big bad Los Angeles Chargers? That's who we're afraid of. They're going to take it to the Browns as road favorites, a dome team playing against a strong defense. I don't understand. I think the Browns should be favored here. They're playing at home, so I like Browns plus 2.5. Browns on the money line. Look, I think you hit the nail on the head, Joe, talking about this team has new life with Jameis Winston injected into this offense. All they do is cover the spread at home as underdogs. They're 4-2 straight up. This was the line to me we talked about on the early look ahead show that jumped out to me the most. It was the first thing I bet heading into week 9, and after doing more research, I just felt better about it. So here we are back again on the Best Bet show. Oh, betting on the Cleveland Browns. Look, last year wasn't aggressive enough after Flacco took over, and it was week after week. Here we go again. Here we go again.
You're right.
So if you weren't on the Browns with us last week, it's okay. There's still time to get on the Browns bandwagon and join me. We got plenty of seats open. Let's go.
And also, just to point out too, this is a Browns team that has Nick Chubb this year.
Yes.
Right now. That team did not. So
they have their leaders that they want in
right.
This
I would say they've got Nick Chubb, and Nick Chubb's starting to look pretty good last week. Again, he's the only guy who's rushed for 50 yards against the Ravens all year. It was a tough matchup. I get it, but he looked pretty good in some of those jump cuts we saw. So that is a huge win for the Browns, getting him back. He is the best player on their offense. All right, let's get more on the Browns, by the way. Spoiler alert to come as we get through the show here. Terrell, let's get to your last pick for the week. And again, it's something Andrew and I were already on the Look Ahead show, and it looks like you are holding hands and running through the meadow with us.
Yeah, you can't lay this big number with Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Chiefs. They don't care. Like they truly do not care. Like, are you in the game? Sure. Did you get the win? No. All right, fine. Then that's perfectly fine. This is not the team that you want to lay over a touchdown with, and it's perfectly fine. They play really good defense, but if you look on the Tampa Bay side, I think that they get up defensively as well. I think they're going to give Patrick Mahomes a lot of pressure, and they're going to try to keep him off of his game. But ultimately, what it is the fact that, again, the Chiefs do not care. Like, the Chiefs do not care. They're going to play smash mouth football. They're not a team that's going to try out there to put 30, 40 plus points on the board. Like, no, hey, we're going to do enough. We're going to control clock. We have Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt's going to run the ball for us really, really effectively. And we are going to control time of possession and just wear you down. Wear you down defensively, wear you down running the football, and Patrick Mahomes is going to make the plays that he needs to make sure that we get the win. Like, I am 100%. Actually, I really wish that I had put Tampa Bay plus 8.5 and Chiefs money line. You might as well just take that and get you some plus money because the Chiefs are winning this game, but they're not covering the spread.
Yeah, Andrew, this is what we talked about too. The Chiefs' inability so far to blow teams out because that's just not how the offense is structured anymore. There's no more Tyreek Hill around, the run game. We're pivoting to the guys like Kareem Hunt, the veterans right now. We'll see if Hopkins picks up the playbook a little bit more involved potentially in this week. But again, it's a hard sell. And Baker Mayfield loves being the underdog. So he gets up for these games too. That's my big point with this. It's like every time you tell Baker Mayfield no, that's when you get the best version of Baker Mayfield. That's been our MO all week on this game. Andrew, anything else you want to add to this?
Baker Mayfield played in Kansas City twice, 2-0 against the spread. Baker Mayfield.
There
So
you go.
he's played well when he's had opportunities to play against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Again, he hasn't won outright, but again, we don't need the Buccaneers to win. We need them to not lose by 9 points. And the Chiefs this year have been kind of threading the needle when it comes to covering a lot of these spreads. And last week it showed up. They didn't cover against the Raiders. And that was one of my bets, was on the Raiders at home, plus 9.5. And it was close, but the Raiders came through. And I think we're going to start to see kind of regression where the Chiefs were covering all these spreads by the narrowest of margins. And now you're going to start to see, well, now they're not going to be covering these spreads because the numbers are just too big based on, oh, well, they're undefeated. But I think Furman just being so nonchalant about the pick and the Buccaneers, that's exactly how the Chiefs feel about covering spreads. Like, we don't care.
Yeah, like what?
Who
won?
We just
Who won? We did. Who's 7-0? We are. Like this is this is not the spot you bet Patrick Mahomes. You bet Patrick Mahomes as a dog. You don't bet him laying over a touchdown.
Oh, always as a dog.
Yes.
Always is always just run to the window to bet him as the dog. I mean, I made so much money last year in the playoffs doing that. It was crazy. And then I cashed out of all my 49ers to win the Super Bowl shares because they all made money. And I doubled down on all of the Patrick Mahomes to win the Super Bowl and be MVP. And it was just a glorious thing. Andrew knows I was I was so exhausted. I passed out from the victory lapping on that.
I mean,
so good.
It's a very real question.
Sure.
What is the game that they lose?
There will be a hiccup in there. Let's take
the
a look.
Bills?
Let's play the game.
The Bills?
The Bills? Yeah, that's possible.
Maybe.
Are they on the road or at home?
On the road. So maybe on the road at the Bills, but like Broncos, they're going to get a big number there.
I think the Broncos will give them problems. To be honest with you, I think the Broncos will give them problems.
I think they're going to get a big number, and I'm probably going to be here next week talking about how we're betting the Broncos again. Like, so probably. Yeah, Broncos, they get Panthers, not worried there.
I think this game is dangerous. I think at Cleveland is going to be dangerous potentially, depending on where Cleveland's at. I don't fear Houston. One of these two Denver games would bother me, especially, again, it's the last week of the season, so they might not matter at that point. Well, the second one is at Denver, but the at Buffalo game is probably the best one. That's the one I would think would be the most likely, but I would not be shocked if the week 10 Denver game crept up on them in a weird way, too.
I wish I could parlay the Chiefs to lose at Buffalo and then also already have them to play them again in the playoffs and beat them in the playoffs. Like, that would be amazing if I could just, hey, if the Chiefs lose this game at Buffalo, let's just go ahead and put all this money and save it for when they play them in the playoffs, because they're going to lose to them in the playoffs.
Find out. Let's get to the upset special of the week. And as I alluded to earlier, I feel really good about the Cleveland Browns. Now, those are words I don't say very lightly, or maybe ever in my entire life, but I feel good about them this week. They're at home. Again, the Chargers are coming into town. Chargers are a good football team, but am I afraid of the Chargers on the road? No, not necessarily. So I know Andrew took the points earlier, but I'm going to take them straight up on the money line, plus money, plus 106. Let's go. Give me those Cleveland Browns. A whole new look. Nick Chubb, Jameis Winston. Good feelings all the way around for the dog pound. So everybody's going to be hooting and hollering over there. And let's take that into the parlay of the week here for week 9 in the NFL. 3-leg parlay for you. Let's take the Cleveland Browns on the money line at plus 106. Let's take the Rams on the money line at minus 126, because now that Stafford's back with those weapons, I think they're going to crush the Seattle Seahawks' hopes and dreams. And then, of course, our favorite thing, the Buccaneers. Give me the Buccaneers with the points at minus 110. You put them together, you get 6-1, boys and girls. That feels like a pretty good weekend. And the thing I love about this too, you got the 1 o'clock game with the Cleveland Browns. So if they win, you're already in business here. And you can watch that Rams game real close. And if you want to cash out, maybe you get a cash out offer. You take it. You're already doing well. But if you want to even wait longer and you get the Rams to win, well, guess what? You got the night game too here with the Buccaneers and the Chiefs. So this is a really fun all-day parlay. Just watch your money grow. And maybe the temptation's there to check out. It's up to you. But I'm a big fan of this one this week, and hopefully you are as well. Tell us what you are in on for Week 9 in the NFL. Drop your comments below. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your pods. And, of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well and ring the bell till it goes ding for notifications. And don't forget to use that BettingPros app, too. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For Andrew, Erickson, and just Terrell, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.